What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to cover the roster upgrade predictions for the third update coming out on August 14th. Now I have 30 names for you guys that I'm going to give you some information about, but it is of the 80 total that I made predictions for. And if you're a subscriber to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Spore, you can get access to all of those. But I don't want to hog it all for them. I want to share the wealth a little bit. So we got plenty of names here for you guys. It's actually 29. I lied earlier. I can't believe that I told a lie at the very beginning of the video. But let's just start. Let's start with the guy who we're already selected on here, Mr. Fishboy himself. I mean, he's got that dad strength now. The league doesn't know what hit him. I mean, he's already got 8 homers, a 328, 377, 738 slash line. That's batting average, on base, and slugging. 3 key components to production. I'll cite triple slash lines a lot. And just so you know, those are the 3 numbers being discussed there. And he's insane. I got him going up a couple points to 97. It's not really an investable, upgrade, but it's deserved. And for those of you who are still using Trout because he's a quirk god and always seems to play above his numbers, you're going to have a couple extra points there, or you certainly should. Now let's get into what you guys are probably most excited about. The guys I see going diamond. Now I'm going to start easy here. And yes, I think it's easy, even though it's a 4-point gain. How does Charlie Blackmon not go diamond? The dude is absolutely out of his mind. He's been a diamond before. Yes, he has that wretched defense, but his hitting is so far off the charts right now that I see no way that they don't give him the 4 points and push him to diamond. He's hitting 472, 506, 681 with 3 homers. Not to mention he has a career best 11% strikeout rate, so the vision could go up a little bit in addition to the contact and power numbers. It's unbelievable what he's doing. I think both of his contact numbers need to go above 100 right now. Charlie Blackmon is truly off the charts right now and could chase down 400 for the season. Obviously, it won't be the same thing as when Ted Williams hit 406, but it would still be an achievement. We have a leaderboard over at Fangraphs that shows the best 60 game spans over time, and there are only 26 that hit over 400. And so it's still a very rare factor. I think we did the math on it the other day and it was like 1.6% of them, rounded up 2%. It's still super rare. So don't let the fact that it's not a 162 situation denigrate what Charlie Blackmon's doing if he does in fact hold 400. He's still got a long way to go. The scrutiny will up itself as we get deeper into August and into September, and every at-bat will be cut into by MLB Network. ESPN will start cutting in because they only care about baseball when it really hits the national scale, and we'll see what happens then. But he's in the right park. He's a tremendous hitter. Bottom line for us, he deserves to go diamond. Hopefully you already invested. There's not a lot of investment opportunity here at this point. I do feel pretty confident about it though, so if you did want to invest, you could probably clear 600 stubs per. It is a little risky to do that though. If you weren't in earlier, I would not want this to be my first entree into Charlie Blackmon shares. I already sold a couple that I had. I didn't have too much, but I sold them at around 4,600, took a nice profit and got out. This other one might be a little bit obvious, especially because he had another homer today. Now, they close the upgrades on Wednesdays, but he just threw a little icing on top here with the Thursday home run for Juan Soto. He played like a diamond all last year, let's be honest. Now, you see that this inside edge at plus 13s on each side doesn't get him there, right? It puts him to an 84, so you're thinking, well, how's he going to get it? Well, let's be honest. He has 5 homers and a 414 average in 8 games. Plus add on the fact that he played like a diamond all last year. I think all 4 of his key components, which again, I consider the 2 contact and the 2 power, those are the key components. I think all 4 of his key components deserve a boost, not just off of the 8 games that he's played, but also factoring in what he did last year and the fact that he's showing how legitimate he was. So I believe he should go diamond with a pretty healthy boost. By the way, it would make his card pretty amazing, especially on the days when he has inside edge. You could start to see Juan Soto pop up on at least people's benches and be a great hitter against whomever he has the inside edge against in a given day. And then the last one, as far as the diamonds go, for me, is Trevor Bauer. And again, you see the market's kind of already there. I'm sorry I don't really have any diamonds that the market isn't really clued in on right now. The diamonds are usually the ones where the market is the sharpest. These are guys that you could have gotten in on earlier. I'm not necessarily highlighting these as these are your big money makers. No, your money makers are always going to be in the silvers to golds and even the mid silver to high silver that will be the next golds. That's where you're going to make stubs. These are just kind of letting you know that the obvious. I admit that out front. But Trevor Bauer, I mean, he's killing it right now. He has a 14.9 K9, 3.3 hit 9, and 1.9 walks with a 0.93 ERA and a 0.57 whip in 19 and a third innings. Now the ERA, that doesn't mean anything for the card. The only reason I bring that up is because it reinforces the performance. Sometimes a guy has a nice K9 and BB9 and they're improvements over what he's done, but his ERA is 6.12 or something because he got blown out of one start. They don't usually like to upgrade guys like that. And in fact, an example of that on the hitting side is Anthony Rizzo. He's doing he has some positive factors in his profile, but he's hitting 235. So it just wouldn't really make sense. Now, you guys know if you watch my stream or my videos that batting average is not an end all be all, but it is remarkably important to what we do in MLB The Show. So I'm going to cite it a lot when I'm talking about upgrades and things like that because it is important. And when you're hitting 235, you can't be pushed to diamond. So I do not have Rizzo as a diamond. I do think Bauer gets there though and deserves it. He's pitching really well. We've seen him pitch brilliantly before. I think he's recentered himself here in Cincinnati after the real bumpy landing there last year. He had a tough time finishing out in Cleveland and then going over to Cincinnati. He's pitching as well as he's ever pitched right now. Granted, we're only 3 starts in. Now let me give you a host of golds that I see making the move up. I have 6 of them of varying confidence and of varying investability. Let's start in Minnesota with Byron Buxton. Now this is a guy that his skills are so rich that I think people have wanted to see him go diamond. And I know in the fantasy landscape, which is where I spend a lot of my time, I write about fantasy baseball and talk about it for a living. People have wanted to get in on the Byron Buxton train forever. And it always seems to derail with an injury. Well, now he's got 5 homers, a 298, 306, 638 line in 49 plate appearances. I think now's as good a time as any to get him that 1 point. Let's see what he can do as a gold. Let's see if he can sustain there for a while. He's already got the elite speed, the elite defense. I will say, though, this would be a bummer because he's a silver god. This is dating back to last year. There's something about some of these defense-first center fielders that just tear the cover off the ball despite mediocre to poor ratings. I know some folks that have similar numbers to these with like a Harrison Bader. Last year for me it was Buxton, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Billy Hamilton of all people. I dominated with all 3. So the one thing about upgrading guys from silver to gold is it kind of kills some of their battle royale and event buzz, depending on what the event restrictions are. And that is exactly what will happen with Buxton, because as an 80, I'm probably less inclined to take him, depending on who else is there though. With him specifically, the defense and speed does help keep him relevant. But somebody like, I'm trying to think of somebody. You know what? I'm going to get to another one. Let's go ahead and go to this guy. As a silver, I'll take Daniel Murphy all day. But as a gold, he's going to get 2 points, maybe 3. I got him just up to an 80. I'm not taking him at that point. I'm gonna go find another silver first baseman that I like. So that's what I mean by that. But I do have Daniel Murphy going up. He's hitting 358, 393, 566 in 57 plate appearances. We expected him to hit well last year with Colorado. He didn't. This year he's making up for lost time. I think he needs to go to gold. But that was out of order a little bit, and these are ranked by confidence. So Byron Buxton was my number 1 of these. Now, he's not my number 1 overall silver to gold, but I'm giving you a slice of my entire grouping, so I want to be clear on that. But next on the list for me is a guy I really, really like, and I think I could see still taking him as a gold in BR because I really like Brian Anderson, and he's got great defense, and he plays 5 positions, so that would still make me want to pick him, even though I'll be losing this Silver, who I have a 1200 OPS with. But he's killing it so far this year with 4 homers, a 286 average, 388 OBP. You love the 102 point split between your average and OBP, and a 619 slug. He's hitting well against righties and lefties. He can get a boost to his core 4 and really see himself get the 2 points into an 80. And there's a little bit more investability with him, although the market has really turned up in the last day or so on Brian Anderson. So I'm kind of eager to see if he gets it this week. If not, he'll crash, and I will double down on my investment. Next up, this one is, I'm probably early on this one. I want to see how aggressive they're going to be, and I'm going to make my case here for Jorge Soler. Now, I have him getting 3 points up to an 80. That's pretty aggressive. Here's why, though. He's carrying over his 2019. If you look at him since 2018, where he had a little bit of a 60, actually, I think it was 61 games. So similar to what we're going to get this year. I'm not going to look it up. I don't want to waste everybody's time doing that. But if you look at him since the beginning of 2018, he's hitting 265, 353, 537. And he has 42 homer per 162 pace. So he's been the stud that we saw last year since 18, and he's carrying it over this year. So I think we need to get a little bit of a boost to his power. I think both of the power ratings need to go up. I could see a little bit of contact jump, although the 60s is probably fine. If they don't mess with that, I understand. But I think both power metrics need to jump up. He has now shown himself, dating back to 2018, as one of the preeminent power guys in the game. The defense is going to hold him back for sure. That's just the way it is. I mean, he's a DH without a doubt, but I think there's enough of a power spike here to move Jorge Soler to gold. This is probably one of my riskier ones, but I'm showing confidence in it because I believe that he's been showing it now for a while and that he does deserve it. If he doesn't get it, dive in, because the price will drop even further. Right now, there's still plenty of space to make stubs if he does get it tomorrow. But if he doesn't and he crashes, he'll be in the 200s and you can clean up. And then Daniel Murphy was next. And now here's another guy that I really love. And again, if he doesn't get it tomorrow, then I'm going to be even heavier in on Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen now was called up last year with Miami, and then he was traded over to Arizona for Jazz Chisholm. He just got done dominating Coors, by the way, so he put himself, front and center for those who maybe weren't paying attention. But he has 11.0 strikeouts per 9, 2.7 walks, and 7.8 hits per 9 in 23 innings. For his career, he has 11 strikeouts, the same as we've seen this year, 3.8 walks, so it's a little bit higher, but he's improved the walk rate. That's why I like him to get upgraded, because he has a 42 BB9 that needs to be upgraded, and then 7.2 hits. So I really think his big three, which is for the hitters, it's the core 4. For the pitchers, it's the big 3, the hit 9, the K9, and the BB9. The homer 9 doesn't play for online play, so we don't care about it. But the core 3, or the big 3 there, the hits, Ks, and BB can all get a boost for Gallen, and I think it's enough to get him the 4 points he needs to go to gold. It's an aggressive move, but he's been one of the very best pitchers in baseball thus far, and if you look at what he did last year, he's carrying over that excellence. If he had been mediocre last year, I wouldn't give him a 4-point boost, but I'm including the fact that we've now seen him pitch at a gold level since he's come up to the majors, and that's why I'm being so aggressive. There's room to invest now, and even if he doesn't get it tomorrow and drops down for those who are invested, I say jump back in even further. I'm gonna swipe these two right off the top here. I don't mind. Let's do it. We got 27 shares now, but I really like Zach Gallen, and he's definitely somebody I'm holding for gold, even if he doesn't get it tomorrow. And then another one that's a little bit might be jumping the gun early, but also carrying on from last year is Tim Anderson. He just got back, so I think he's only played 9 games, but he has 5 multi-hit games. He has a 307 ISO, which is your slugging minus your batting average. It isolates your power, it gets rid of the singles, and focuses on your doubles, triples, and homers. And anything over like a 200 ISO is pretty good. Once you start getting into the 300s, that's amazing. Now, it's 9 games, so some guys can maintain like a 300 for a whole year. I think Pete Alonso had like a 328 last year because he was obviously out of his mind. But I think it's time that Tim Anderson go gold, because if you look at what he did last year, he was a batting title champ, batting average champ. That batting title. That's such a lofty moniker for somebody who leads the league in batting average. But it's still cool to lead the league in batting average. But you're not the best hitter, which is kind of what that idea connotes. It's not true. Anyway, I'm not here to undercut that. He won a batting title. It was awesome. He's come back out this year. He looks great again. I really think the power needs a boost here to get us those 2 points and get Tim Anderson to gold. And again, if he doesn't get it, he will tank. You know, Gallen and Soler might not tank. They might just lose a little bit from their, because they're not as high in the market as guys like Anderson, both Andersons really, and Byron Buxton. So when those guys don't get it, they plummet because everyone gets pissed and sells out. With the Gallen and Soler folks, not everyone's going to sell out. So if Anderson, if we could be a little patient, we should almost pull for him not to get it tomorrow, tank, we reinvest, and then get it next week when we got in at like 4 something, 5 something. But anyway, I hope he gets it just because I like to be right. I could sell off some shares. How many do I have? I don't have that many. I'm not super invested in him, but I really do believe in this call. Please don't always take how many I have to be like, oh, he doesn't really like him. If I don't have a ton, then I don't believe in him. That's not the case. First off, I wouldn't give you guys false hope on something I didn't believe in, but also sometimes I'm just late. You know, I see a guy, I'm like, I don't have any of him for some reason. Dang it. But Gallen, somebody I've been investing in since the beginning of the season. Same with Brian Anderson. Same with Luke Voigt. So those are guys that I've had all year. That's why my shares of them are higher. This one, now I have 2 79s that could go gold. You know, remember, whenever I have a 79, they could get it. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure if they're going to be super aggressive on Bo Bichette and give him 5 points. Now, I do a first run on Wednesday and then my final run on Thursday morning, which is what I pull from for this video. On Wednesday, I put him up to 77. Well, then he went out and had a 5 for 5 and just went off in that crazy game against the Marlins. So then I moved him up to a 79. Will they give him 5 points? I don't know. I put him at 79 because I don't think so. But they could, for the similar reason that I've been talking about a lot of these guys, that he's been doing this since last year. Since Bo Bichette came into the league, he's played like a gold. So if they do make the aggressive 5-point move on him, I don't think it's going off of one 5-hit game or even the small sample of this year. It's going off of the larger sample of since he was called up. Now, he only has 58 career games, but we're being aggressive this year. We're moving quicker than we ever have. So off of those 58 games where he's hitting 320, 364, 588, I think we could see it. He has 4 homers and 4 stolen bases this year. He has just 1 OFER, OFER meaning a 0-hit game, if you're unfamiliar with that term. And he has 5 of his 12 games are multi-hit efforts. So I really think Bo Bichette should at least get to 79, if not all the way to 80. The market is mostly there, but you can still put in some buy orders for some profit there. I lost my word for a second, but you can still get some profit. In fact, I might throw a few in there. I think I will. Why not, you know? I mean, I'm not going to put a bunch on here on the video and waste y'all's time, but I'll throw a couple in there. I might do a few more offline. There's still enough of a gap there. Heck, you could almost flip these and just take some stubs off the market tonight based on the action there. Anyway, let's stay in the East here and look at another guy, Brandon Lau. Love this guy. Don't know why it's pronounced Lau when his own teammate Nate is pronounced Low. That's not confusing at all. Super easy. Really appreciate that. But anyway, I really like this guy. He's incredible. You see how balanced he is. This will be another tough one though if he does go to gold instead of just to 79. I got him just getting the 1 point. I could really see him getting the 2 though. He's decimating lefties. 421, 500, 1,000 with 3 homers in 22 plate appearances against them this year. That could get a boost. I didn't check in on his strikeout rate. Let me see where that's at real quick. I will do that one on the fly with y'all, because if it's much lower, which I'm not sure if it is, but if it's improved to a substantial degree, it was 35% last year. It's down to 26%, which is still a little high, but deserves better than a 28. Yeah, I think Lau has a better chance than Bichette to get the gold. So you better get in now. Well, you better already have some. You don't want to have your first investments be on Thursday night. you can supplement your investments, but these should not be your first investments. That said, we've been talking about Lau in previous videos before, so while I am giving you this video on a Thursday night, you could have already been invested previously. I will say, I would hate to lose him as a BR Silver because he absolutely rakes. He needs some quirks. Let's give him some quirks. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he's good at home or road, or if he's good with 2 strikes, but let's get him some quirks. I'm trying to get SDS. I'm trying to bend their ear to add quirks in season. I love the quirks on live series cards. Let's go to a couple 77s here. First one is a guy I loved coming into the year, and he's really backing it up, making me look smart, which is hard to do because I'm an idiot. But Frankie Montas got boosted up to 75 just last week. I think he gets another 2 points off rip up to 77. He's one of my biggest hold for golds. Let's get that stamina boosted. Let's get the big 3 boosted. I mean, he needs kind of a renovation of his card. It's time. Picking up exactly where last year left off. If you look at him since the start of 19, he has 119 innings with 9.5 Ks, 2.4 walks, and 7.4 hits. Again, this is at least a high silver and then sets up for gold, and you guys really need to get invested. Now, this is where you can really make some stubs because he's cheap right now. And in fact, I need to get my shares up because I like this guy so much. And here I am. I traded in a bunch when he went to silver last week because I had a bunch of bronzes, and I've only slowly been re-upping, but then he had a big outing, and I'm like, well, now he could be pushed up to high silver, and I better get in before the price gets too high. But I really do like Frankie Montas. Another one, you may have already seen some orders flashing by on this guy, and he's recently gotten to silver as well, and that's Drew Pomeranz. I like him as a hold for gold too. Since becoming a full-time reliever, this dude's been a monster. He became a full-time reliever with Milwaukee last year, and he's been off the charts. But let's go back to 18 when he was with Boston, and he was splitting time between the bullpen and relief. Let's take just his relief numbers since the start of 2018. He has 12.5 Ks, 3.5 walks, 6.6 hits. That's excellent. Now let's just look at since last year, since he got with Milwaukee. 14.9 Ks, that's 2.5 more, 2.7 walks, that slices off almost a full walk per 9, and 4.2 hits, that slices off nearly 2.5 hits, and a 142 batting average. I mean, his big 3 needs to get boosted up. His control needs to go up for sure. His clutch needs to go way up. This needs to become one of the preeminent silver lefties with the hold for gold tag on it. I really think SDS needs to do him some justice. And when a guy converts like this, I think it would behoove them to kind of reset a little bit, right? That starter work shouldn't necessarily play a role because he's not starting right now. If he goes back to starting, you can reincorporate the poor starting numbers, but he's not going to. He's a reliever now. So I think we should look at him as more of a reliever and kind of set up the card from that point. I know it will yield some drastic upgrades, but they're deserved. If we're trying to reflect how he's playing right now, then I think we need to make those big boosts to his card and really push him up. Like I said, I got him at a 77 right now, but I think that he could be gold by next week. I really do. If they want to go all the way and really push his card up to what it can be based on how he's been pitching as a reliever, not just since last year, but even since 18. Even bring in the Boston relief work, and you're still talking about somebody who's pitching like a gold reliever. And as you can see, my shares are going way up here, even as this video is going. I'm up to 30, and I'm probably not going to stop there. I really like Drew Pomeranz. All right, now I've got 4 new silvers for you. I'll start with the obvious one. He would have gotten it last week if he didn't have his big start on Thursday, and that's Dylan Bundy. He's been moving up and up. Now, this price is kind of insane, and I think I have been selling a bunch as the day has gone on, and I'm going to continue to do that because, look, I love Bundy, and I think there's even some hold for gold, but with the profits that I'm making here, I don't feel like I need to wait until he goes gold. At any rate, he is going to go silver. He deserves it. He's made a massive pitch mix change, getting away from his fastball and really leaning into his slider, and it is yielding big improvements. He has a MLB best 28 2/3 innings, during which he has 11 strikeouts, 0.9 walks. He doesn't even have 1 walk per 9, 4.7 hits. He's been awesome. He needs massive upgrades. See what getting out of Baltimore can do for somebody. Sorry, Mills. Next up is a guy who's also had a bit of a rebirth by finding a new home, and that's Jesus Aguilar. Remember, he had that amazing 2018. In fact, we've got that Milwaukee card, that Player of the Month card. I'm not going to go to it, but you know the card I'm talking about. And then last year, he fell apart to the point where they traded him to Tampa Bay. He got a little bit of a spark back in his bat with Tampa Bay, but not quite. This year, he's back and looking even better than 18 almost, because he's hitting up for big batting average. He's hitting 311 with a 353 on base and a 622 slug. He's already got 4 homers. I think he needs some big jumps here, push him up to a nice little 75, 76. I've got him at 76 right now, but somewhere in that silver range for sure. And then gold is a definite possibility. Keep an eye out on Jesus Aguilar. There's definitely hold for gold potential here with the way he's absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. Next up is a guy I really like, man. I'm a Tigers fan. We had him last year, and I was hoping for this rebirth with the Tigers. It didn't quite come to fruition, but Trevor Rosenthal has regained his excellence so far with Kansas City. Now, it's 9 innings, so I don't want to go too crazy. There may be some long-term gold, but you have to be careful with relievers. They're super volatile. So I would be careful of getting 200 shares of Trevor Rosenthal being like, I'm holding for gold, because especially in a season like this with 60 games, one bad outing can screw up everything. So be careful, but I do think he's going to go silver this week up to a 76. He has 10.0 Ks, 3.0 walks, and 5.0 hits. He just so happens to be well-rounded there because he has 9 innings. So it's 10 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 5 hits. Your per 9s work out pretty well when you have exactly 9 innings. But he looks like prime Rosie. He's really throwing the ball well, and I think it would behoove them to give him some nice upgrades. And hey, SDS, can we get that gold Trevor Rosenthal back out from the Cardinals flashback? I really like that. I know content's been absolute heat. I love it. And we haven't had lower than a diamond in I don't know how long. But those of us who love BR and events, and I know people who play tournaments where you have roster restrictions, let's get some golds and silvers thrown out there. I won't complain. Don't judge everything through the prism of ranked seasons. Just because a gold Trevor Rosenthal wouldn't make your bullpen for ranked seasons doesn't mean it's not a fun card. So I think too many people do that, and it makes SDS gun shy about bringing out cards like that once we get to a certain point in the year, because they're just going to complain about, oh, how am I going to put this silver into my lineup? You don't have to, but if they come out with 2017 Jake Lamb and it's a BR god, how sick would that be? Anyway, off my soapbox. My last new silver for you guys is Jesse Winker, and here's why. He's decimating lefties. He's hitting 400, 538, 800. It's only 13 plate appearances, but it's a substantial enough performance that even in a small sample, I do think it's worth a boost that should be able to get him the 2 points up to a 75 at the very least. And I'm going to keep monitoring him. Once he gets into silver, I'm going to keep a very close eye on Jesse Winker, because he's got enough hitting that he could outrun his terrible defense and lack of speed and maybe go to gold. If you are interested in Jesse Winker, maybe hold a few shares. I would not, I wouldn't hold more than okay, let's say you have what I have. I have 12 sellables. When he goes silver, I'm probably going to exchange 8 of them. I'll keep 4 off to the side as my little nest egg to start to have in case he gets gold, an inkling of gold to him by continuing to crush the ball, particularly against lefties. So maybe keep 25% of what you got, depending on how invested you are in somebody like Jesse Winker. Next up is Donovan Solano, who I didn't quite put up at silver, but I do have him as a 74 right now. Again, if I'm going 74, that means he's right there. Anytime I'm going like 84, 79, or 74, that means I feel like they could get the level change too. I just happen to come out 1 point shy. And it just depends how much they want to go off of this craziness. Here's what I will say though. He's actually been hitting since last year. If you look at what Donovan Solano did last year with the Giants, it was also a BABIP-fueled line drive, fest for him. But just add his 81 games last year to his 16 this year. And in that time, hang on, it's calculating. In that time, we have a guy who's hitting 358, 385, 500 with 5 homers and 291 plate appearances. That's enough for a substantial boost to his contact numbers, and I think it's enough to get him 2 points to 74, and probably all 3 points to silver, if I'm being honest about it. But I just went 74 to be conservative because I didn't know how much they were going to weight last year into the mix. So I just wasn't sure. I played it a little bit cautious, but if he goes silver, I'm not going to be surprised. Plus, depending on where you invested, I mean, you should already be able to make a profit. You shouldn't have to worry if he goes silver or not, unless you're holding for affinity, in which case you want him to go silver, get those extra affinity exchange points. And another 74 that I have, this one would take a little bit bigger of a gain to get to silver because Robbie Grossman's only a 71 right now. So I've only got him to a 74, but he's hitting so well that he might jump all the way up to 75, but I got him 74. These next three guys are all very similar with what they're doing. They've been power speed combos with huge slash lines. So Robbie Grossman has 3 homers, 4 steals with a 311 average, 466 on base, and 600 slug. So I think his steal needs to go up, and his core 4 need a little love across the board there for Robbie Grossman. This next guy, also on the Giants. Let's go back. Let's stay in the California area here and talk about Austin Slater. Who is this guy, man? He's out of his mind. He has 3 homers, 5 stolen bases with the 342, 444, 632 line. So he also gets a boost to his steal number, and his core 4 needs some attention. I've got him going up to a 73 from this very nice 69 rating that he has. And then staying out west but heading up to the northwest, we go to Dylan Moore, who's also a nice 69 rating. Look at that. He plays everywhere except catcher. He has 4 homers, 4 steals, 294, 379, 608. I've got him going up to a 73 as well. So all 3 of these guys, Grossman, Slater, and Moore, have been fantasy gems for people if you got in early enough to get some of the power and speed. But they're hitting the cover off the ball. I think they all need to set themselves up as high bronzes, and if they continue to perform, they should all be able to attack silver, depending how much they keep going. And then one more here on Oakland that's it's bronze to bronze, but someone to keep an eye out on is Jake Diekman. Now, there's a great story out about how he learned a new slider from Pitching Ninja. If you don't follow Pitching Ninja on Twitter, you got to get on it. He's great. Rob Friedman, excellent guy, posts brilliant content. But he learned basically the Chaz Rowe slider. If you've ever seen a Chaz Rowe slider, you know that it does not belong on any site but that one. It's insane. And basically, Jake Diekman saw this, started talking with Pitching Ninja, figured out what the grip was. Now he's throwing one from the left side. Chaz Rowe's a righty. And the movement on his slider has gone through the roof. And it's yielded big results. He has 13.5 strikeouts and 2.5 hits per 9. So I think the hits per 9 is where we're going to see the biggest improvement for Jake Diekman. And that should push him up 2 to 3 points. I put him at a 73, but I think 73, 74 is where he should go. Now he does have 6.1 walks per 9. So I think his BB9 will be unchanged because 6.1 is pretty ugly. And now I've got 5 commons for you, and the reason I put these in again is for affinity purposes. You're not going to make a ton of stubs off of these unless you buy so many that the volume helps you get there. But this is really for affinity, folks, because you can invest a ton in these, and if these guys get like 10, 15 point boosts, wait a minute, where is this guy? I looked him up on the market, and he was there. Hang on. Where's my guy Jake Cronenworth? Is he under free agents? Pardon me on this, y'all. I've got him as a 55, so let me do this. Let me see if he's on free agents. There he is. Okay, first off, they need to put him on the team because he's on the team right now. As you can see, he's a relief pitcher, but he actually hits too because he did both last year in the Tampa organization. I think they need to flip it. They need to make him a primary hitter with pitching capability. I don't think they do that though, but they can get rid of the pitching. He's not going to pitch in the majors right now. They need to get his hitting together. They need to boost him up. I got him going all the way up to a 69. This dude hits lasers, and he's hitting 333, 350, 692, and he's taking that second base job. He got a lot of fill in early on at first base while Eric Hosmer was out. Well, Hosmer's back, and now Jake Cronenworth is taking time away from Jurickson Profar. The thing is, he can play outfield too. So can Profar, so they can kind of interchange. Plus, there's DH. But Jake Cronenworth looks like an everyday player. I think his entire offensive card needs some attention, and you can get rid of the pitching because it's not relevant to this year. But I got him going up somewhere. I got him pretty high, obviously, going up 14 points to 69. But if they do this and they boost him, think about what you're paying to, you're paying 20, 25 maybe to get a bunch of orders in, and he goes all the way up to a 69. That's a pretty good affinity exchange. I should have written down how many points of a difference that is, because I actually don't know off the top of my head, but I know it's substantial when you go from 55 to 69. So that'd be really nice. Next is a guy, I know I'm beating the drum on this guy, but I'm going to keep doing it until they make the move. James Karinchak, come on. What are we doing? I know he only has 14 major league innings, but this is not just off of the major league time. His minor league record was awesome too. He has 16.1 Ks, 3.9 walks, 4.5 hits, and he hasn't given up a homer. Again, I know we don't talk about homer 9, but I just want to throw that out there because his homer 9 is 38. And his clutch needs to go up, his control needs to go up a little bit. He does walk. If anything is an issue, it's his walk, but not 22 BB9. The K9 needs to go up, the hit 9 needs to go up, the BB9 needs to go up. James Karinchak needs some love, man. I need him to be a 68 bronze so that we can actually use him in BR, because I think it could be nasty. With this, you can't use him as a common. I don't even think they put him in BR all that often. I mean, you only get 2 commons, so he'd have to be one of the 8 cards that shows up. That's why he wouldn't show up very often. But come on, SDS. I know I'm only citing the 14 major league innings that he has since last year, but look at what he did in the minors. This dude deserves some love. This guy's the next big thing. I'm really in on James Karinchak. I think Terry Francona called him the team's Rob Gronkowski, so that gives you an idea of his attitude too, which is kind of hilarious. And it's just that reliever mentality. Their relievers are crazy. Another interesting rookie reliever is, is he under? Wait, is he under free agents too? Hang on. Might have another free agent. Free agent alert. Pardon me. Matt Foster, yeah, here we go. This guy's on the White Sox right now, and he's dominating. He's got 15.3 K, 2.3 walks, and 2.3 hits in 7 2/3. So I think he needs a little bit of love. I got him going from a 62 to a 67. Again, put him on the White Sox. You can invest single digits in him and get a bunch for your affinity exchanges. My next guy, I know my Toronto folks are going to like this one. Jordan Romano. There he is. He's a 59 right now. That needs to go up. He is dealing so far. He's allowed 1 hit, 3 walks, and has 13 strikeouts in 9 innings. And that's why I gave you the raw numbers, because it's in 9 innings. So you know the per 9s are just what I just said, because he's only thrown 9 innings. I want to see something else too real quick, because there's another thing that might need to be updated. Yeah, let's get that velo up too. It's at 92. He's throwing 96.7. And he threw 94.6 last year, so it should be up anyway. And let me make sure his pitch mix is correct. Yeah, he is fastball slider. That's it. Sorry, guys, no change up. So, but he could become a bronze god in BR if the numbers get moved up to where they belong. Then I think we could see him being somebody that you could actually use a little bit here and there. I'm not, nobody's winning 12 and 0s because of all their bronze relievers. You still need good pitchers, but I had my first 12 win of the year. I went 12 and 1. You have to lean on some bronzes in some of those middle games. It's hard to manage the pitching unless you get quits. I'm not good enough to get a bunch of quits. I don't have offense that makes people quit, 2 at-bats into the game because I hit back-to-back homers. So schlubs like me, we need every part of the bullpen that we have. So we need Jordan Romano's and James Karinchak's and Matt Foster's to get upgraded into bronzes so we can sneak them into the bullpen. You know who else we need? Do a little something for the Tigers fans here, because I need Gregory Soto in my BR bullpen. Not as a 51 though. He's a lefty. He's got a sinker, slider, changeup, 97 mile an hour four-seamer. He's been excellent for 10 innings. It's so weird to say that a Detroit reliever has been excellent. It's the weirdest feeling ever. I kind of have goosebumps about it. I'm barely even kidding about that. It's been since like Joel Zumaya that the Tigers have had a reliever that makes you feel good when they come into the game. Generally, it's just pure dread. Even when the Tigers were good, when we had 5 Cy Young starters going and amazing offense, it's like, well, they better score 10 runs because the bullpen's going to come in at some point and give up 5 or 6. Not this year's bullpen. There's like multiple guys, but Gregory Soto's been the headliner. He's been a monster. 10 innings of excellence. Like I said, 14 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 2 hits. He's been great. Give them some love, please, SDS. Get them up to a 66, make them usable. I can sneak them in the old BR bullpen, and then maybe I can go 12-0. Okay? I went 12-1 because I didn't have James Karinchak and Gregory Soto and Jordan Romano and Matt Foster. Okay, that's probably not why. It's because I ran into some guy who beat me 8-0, and I don't think those relievers would have helped me. But that's beside the point. Don't judge me on that. Anyway, there they are. There's the 29 names that I've got. And again, I got 80 in total. If you want to subscribe to my Twitch chat, twitch.tv/Spore. I'm streaming 6 days a week. Come on out. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link your account, get a free subscription. It's $5 a month. I do a little something for my subscribers, but I want to give you guys some stuff too. And I'm always answering questions in chat in my Twitch chat. Now I don't just answer every single upgrade and give away all the answers. But you know, I slide answers here and there too. I'm not trying to make it a pay to play thing, but I do like to give it as a bonus to my subscribers that they get the full list, and then I pair it out and give it here and there to folks in the Twitch chat and here on YouTube. But I appreciate y'all so much for watching. Hit a like, hit a subscription. We're gonna review the update tomorrow. Hopefully it's a banger because we can see a lot of movement. They've been aggressive. It's been a lot of fun. Let's get these commons boosted. That's the most important thing. Peace.